Are you guys ready for part two? The rest of the book haul. So the first ones I'm going to go through right here are ones that I picked up at multiple thrift stores. Like I think I went to a Goodwill, a Savers, maybe a couple other ones. So this is the first one that I grabbed. It's by David Wong. This book is full of spiders. And this is the sequel to John Dies at the End. That's one that I really wanted to read at some point. I know there was like a movie made out of it or something like that. It's on my list to read. So I figured, well, this is the sequel. I'm going to get to it at some point, so I might as well grab it and add it to my list. I picked up this copy of Alien Colony War. So another alien novel. This is by David Barnett. Looks like on the back that there's maybe two others in the series. Alien, Into... I can't read it. It's really small print. So anyways, looks like this is part of another set of series. Probably part of a set. So this one's in beat up shape, but it's, you know, good enough for me to read. All right, this one I picked up. It is a paperback from Hell. It is Pinnacle Horror. And I do actually have a copy of it already. But this is a pretty good find. Joyride by Stephen Cry. Come on. And I do have this one already. Last time I checked, it was like 85 to 100 on eBay. So I just snagged it when I saw it. And then later I looked it up and it looks like there's maybe 4 or 5 more copies on eBay now. And so the price went down. Everybody's kind of underbidding themselves, you know, or underbidding other people. And so it ends up, I think it was like $40 or something was the lowest one, but so still a good deal. And I already have a copy, so I will pass that one along. This one is very cool. This is Star Wars Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. And apparently this is like one that was only available at like a Comic-Con or something like that. And inside, it is signed. Original cost on this book was $40. That's kind of crazy. I looked it up and there's only three listed, and the lowest was like $200. So this is a pretty good find for a Goodwill. And that is by Christine Golden. That's the author. I have another one here, and this is probably one of the rarest finds that I found. I put a little post on Short earlier to show you guys, but this is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. And I've already sold some of her hardcovers, like special Target editions and things like that, for a couple $100 here and there. This is a advanced uncorrected proof. And this, I could only find one that had ever been sold that I could see, and it sold. It was listed for $2,500, and they accepted a best offer on it. So, I mean, it could be anywhere under that. I would guess they were shooting for the moon and maybe got $2,000 out of it. I don't know. So I'm gonna list it higher and see what happens. There is another uncorrected proof of a different book by Sarah J. Maas on there right now. That's, I think, $1,900 if I remember correctly. So I'm gonna, throw it up there and see what happens. I'll probably put it up for $3,000 or something, and then just see what happens, man. So that's pretty awesome find. That'll be listed here today, and I'll let you guys know if it sells. It's pretty cool. If that actually sells for, like, let's say $2,500, I'm gonna finally get a signed Stephen King book. That's what I've been waiting for a long time. So if that actually sells for that much, I'm gonna go ahead and bite the bullet and get a signed copy of one of Stephen King's books. So excited for that. All right, next up I found Heretics of Dune by Frank Herbert. It's just a older copy. We have Don't Say a Word by Andrew Clavin. Really cool looking one. It's got the embossed cover on it. It is a Pocket Star Books. It says, if you like nerve-jangling suspense, Andrew Clavin is as good as they get. Another best of Best of Robert Bloch, and I do have this one somewhere. I will have to go through all my horror books and see if it's in there. This one feels really, really new. It's like in perfect shape. So I will pass that along on probably on Whatnot. And then I picked up a couple mangas, Naruto 1 and Naruto 2. And I don't know if anybody's interested in mangas. I have quite a few actually, and I could maybe do a little show on those, or I can just add them in with the sci-fi and horror stuff. So those will be available probably on Whatnot. This is R.A. Salvatore's The Icewind Dale Trilogy Collector Edition by Forgotten Realms, or from Forgotten Realms. This also, I think the cheapest one on eBay was about 25 bucks. So I have tons of Forgotten Realms stuff, like a lot, like way too much, boxes and boxes. So I need to get rid of some of that stuff. So if anybody's interested in some fantasy shows on Whatnot or stuff like that, let me know. I can do a Whatnot show for it, or I can just put a big fat bundle on eBay or something like that. So, and then I picked up one more book. This is another Sarah J. Maas. This one's not quite as expensive as the other ones, but I think if I remember right, it was like around 20 or 25 also. So this is Crescent City. The ones to look out for are like the special Target edition that was available only for a limited time at Target, and a lot of times those have an extra chapter in them, or like a short story at the back, or behind the scenes notes from the author, or something like that they add to it, and then that becomes a rarity that people want. So the rest of these are from that bookstore that I just love. It is called Recycle Books. It's in San Jose, California. And they have two different stores. One I think is bigger, and that's the one I was at. I have not gone to the other one yet, but they said it wasn't quite as big, didn't have as much of a selection. The first one that I picked up from that store is Day Zero by C. Robert Cargill. This is the, I believe, like a prequel to Sea of Rust. I believe it's a prequel. And I can't remember. Jonathon over at Words in Time had I bought Sea of Rust originally because he praised it a lot and talked about it a bunch. And then I think in one of the comments I read that he said there was another book in the series, and I didn't even know. So I would never even look for this thing because I had no clue there was another prequel or sequel. I don't remember which one it is, but I'm glad I did, and thank you, Jonathon, for pointing that out, because now I'm looking forward to reading this one. I did like Sea of Rust. It was a great book, and I hope this one is just as good. I don't remember if he said that he had read it or not, so I don't remember if he said it was good or not as good. I can't remember, but looking forward to it either way. So this one's for me. So here's another one that I picked up that I don't really know anything about. It looked cool from the cover, and I think it's part of a series. And so I just went ahead and grabbed it because like I had mentioned before, I kind of want to do a little, maybe a month of just reading stuff I've never heard of, just to see if I can find a new author that I like, or find something that's, kind of a hidden gem, something that people haven't heard of. And so I'm sure people have heard of this. This is The Brink, and it's an Awakened novel by James Murray. And I don't know how many are in this series. What? That looks like it's signed by both people, James Murray and Darren Wearmouth. Well, would you look at that? I didn't even realize. Well, cool. It says it's the sequel to the international bestseller Awakened. Okay, so this is The Brink. I don't know how many more there are in this series, but I have to buy Awakened first before I read Brink. But that's really cool that it's signed. Kind of excited for that. So I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that. If you have, let me know. I'd love to know about it. Um, this is the Zombie Survival Guide, Recorded Attacks by Max Brooks. It's like a graphic novel. And it looks pretty fun. Try to hold some up. This kind of graphic. It's a graphic novel, but it's graphic in nature. So pretty cool. I loved World War Z, and I'm getting ready to read Devolution by Max Brooks. And what was the other one? Zombie Survival Guide was the other one that I read by him. So I've read a couple of his books already, and I've really enjoyed them. So looking forward to that one too. I picked this one up. I wasn't sure if I was going to sell this one or keep it, but this one is Backshot by Tom Piccirilli, and I think online all these were around $20 or so. I got it for $8, so I figured it was worth grabbing. It might be one that I want to read, so I wasn't, I didn't really spend a lot of time on it. I just kind of grabbed it. So I may read it. If it's really good, then I'll hang on to it. If not, I'll sell it. So I finally picked up a copy of The Wind Through the Keyhole. I have copies already, but they're all paperback, and I'm trying to replace all my Stephen Kings with hardcovers. And so this one I just never see in hardcover. So I'm getting closer to reading this one in the Dark Tower series. So that one is going in my collection. I picked up Dark Forces. It's stories of suspense and supernatural horror. This one I will probably keep. I'm not sure. It is. It has quite a few people in it. So let me jump to it. So it has Dennis Etchison, Carl Edward Wagner, Joyce Carol Oates, Ted Klein, has Gene Wolfe, Ted Sturgeon or Theodore Sturgeon, Ramsey Campbell, Clifford Simak, Lisa Tuttle, Robert Bloch, Ray Bradbury, Joe Halderman, Charles Grant, Manly Wade Wellman, Richard Matheson, and Richard Christian Matheson, and Stephen King. So, and the Stephen King story is The Mist. That's in this one. Another Aliens Infiltrator. I picked up New Watch by Sergei Lukyanenko. Anyways, so this is the series Day Watch, Night Watch, and I forget what the other one is, but this is part of that series, and so pick that one up. So I picked up this one, Secret Santa, and this is by Andrew Schaefer. I actually already had this one, so I have another copy, and this is one that I was going to read in December. I was going to do like maybe a week or two of reading books that all have to do with Christmas or Santa, or I have one I think called Sleigh Bells, and like it's like SLAY. So I would just pick this one up because I figured somebody else was going to want this one. It's a fairly new book. I actually got this at Barnes & Noble for double the price of this one. So I was going to put this one on Whatnot. If anybody wanted to join me in reading, you could pick it up there, and that'll be available to you. And then I took a chance on this one. I don't know really anything about it other than I believe this guy was in the military, and it says he returned back stateside to Napa, California, which is where I used to live. We're in the Napa Valley right now. We're close to it. My wife grew up in Napa her whole entire life. So it's really cool when something takes place in the area where you live or where you've grown up in or what have you. I didn't grow up in Napa, but I moved there when my wife and I got married. So we lived there for several years, and it was just, it's kind of neat to hear about certain things that are referenced from the city or what have you. Dean Koontz's book, Intensity, takes place in the Napa Valley too, which is really cool. So he's talking about, I'm going down this street and we turn on this street, and I can picture it exactly, knowing exactly where he's at and where what they're doing, because it's like I'm so familiar with it. So I went ahead and grabbed this one for that reason. I don't know really anything about it. Gene O'Neill, and it's called Rusting Chickens. I still don't even know the premise. So other than he went to war and came back, and there's something else happening. All right, moving right along, we have Moonfall by Tamara Thorne. Very cool cover there. House Shutters, edited by Martin Greenberg. And this one has Stephen King, Bram Stoker, H.P. Lovecraft, Robert Bloch, Jack Chalker, interesting, Charles Grant, and I'm not sure what the, let's see, I always like to know what the King one is. So Wrapped in the Walls by Lovecraft. Lizzie Borden, Took an Axe, Robert Bloch, and The Bogeyman by Stephen King. So I also picked up Winter Wake by Rick Hatala. Really cool cover. Fantastic cover. And that one is a Warner horror. All right. I've never found this one before, and it is Fluke by James Herbert. And they made a movie out of this, right? But the movie was like not, you know, messed up or anything, but this makes it look like it's kind of like a messed up story. Is it a messed up story? It says it's a Signet horror, but I remember the movie was like wasn't it like a PG kids movie? Is that not the same thing? The premise seems exactly the same. So did they take a horror movie and make it like a kids movie? All right, well, that's cool. Stephen R. George. This one is Bloody Valentine. And this is a zebra horror. There's the zebra logo. I'll try and cover it. See if I can do it. There you go. Stephen George also wrote The Forgotten, which is on my list to read. It was one I was wanting to get to in October, and I just didn't get to it. So it'll probably move on to next year's TBR, and I'll have a big list of everything I want to try to read throughout the year again. But same author. That one I paid some more for. I also paid some more for this one because I've been wanting to read this one for a while too. It is Wicker Man. I don't think I ever saw the movie either. So I've just heard that this is a phenomenal book, and it's by Robin Hardy and Anthony Schaefer. I've just heard that it's really good, and it's kind of in a little bit beat up shape. It's like some staining on the sides there, on the edges. John Tiggs, As Evil Does. And this one is a leisure horror. So I sold one of these at one point, but it was a hardcover, and this one I've actually never seen. It is Hotter Blood, More Tales of Erotic Horror, and this is edited by Jeff Gleb. I know there's like 10 or 11 of these Hot Blood series. This has, let's see who it has in it. So Richard Lehman's one of them. Chet Williamson, Stephen Gresham, Gary Brandner, Jane Williamson, Rex Miller, Graham Masterton, John Shirley, and Carl Edward Wagner. So quite a few in there. This is After Dark by Manly Wade Wellman. I have a complete collection, like a big hardcover book of all of Manly Wade Wellman's writings. And so I will probably pass this along. I just thought it was cool. I don't hardly ever come across Manly Wade Wellman. I have in the past had a couple, and I sold them on Whatnot and things like that. So I will probably pass this one along on there as well. It's got a taped up spine, but that's okay. The Jewel of Seven Stars by Bram Stoker. I have not come across this one before. It does say abridged, so it is a shortened version. Yeah, it looks like about 300 pages or so. All right, Demon Shadows by Michael Sarota. Not one I'm familiar with, but look at the skeleton in there in the midst. Pretty cool. It's all embossed also. Another Joe McKinney. I don't know if I have this one, so I went ahead and grabbed it anyway. I wasn't sure if I had it. I probably do have this one. I'll have to pull all these out and check. This one is Flesh Eaters. I don't know how many are in this series. I know I have Dead City is one of them, and Apocalypse of the Dead, I think, is the other one I picked up earlier. Yeah, I don't know which ones I have, but that one will go either, if I do already have it, it'll go on Whatnot. If not, it'll stay with my collection. This I thought just looked really cool. Rooftops by Tom Lewis. I've never heard of this. I'd love to know if you guys have read any of these or you know anything about these or whatever. I'd just be awesome to hear about them. Maybe we should do a live sometime, just talk about stuff like that. That'd be fun. This one looked really cool as well. This is Toomley's, I guess. Toomley's Walk by Crossland Brown. And this one is a Avon horror. And it says, the beast that walks like a man feeds beneath a blood-red Texas moon. So sounds like a werewolf novel of some kind. You know, I haven't really read too many werewolf novels. I've read Psycho the Werewolf by Stephen King. And speaking of something similar, Jack Woods, Wolfie, Neither Man Nor Beast, says on the back there. This is a Pageant Books horror occult. A terrible evil stalks the island and it must be stopped. All right, so you thought I was close to the end? Well, I got an entire banker box still from there to go. All right, this has been on my watch list on eBay for a while to buy, and I found it, so I just went ahead and picked it up. It is Rising by Brian Keene. I do have some other Brian Keene ones. I don't know which ones I have. This is the problem with just, you know, not having everything organized and maybe alphabetized or something, is that sometimes I have it already. So I've had this on my watch list on eBay, so I figured I didn't have it. So hopefully I can add that to my list. I know there's a few of those, so I would like all of them at some point. I've heard they're good reads. This one looks just trippy and disgusting right here. This is a leisure horror. This is Margot, and the author is Dana Reed. Look at that cover. Let me get a close-up of that. That is a little disturbing. All right, so Dana Reed, Margot. It was a name the townspeople whispered softly, as if the sinister old woman could hear them from her crumbling gray mansion on the hill. Margot. She was an ancient crone who should have long since turned to dust. She was an ancient crone, should have long since turned to dust, but somehow, in the right light, she looked no more than 30 years old. Oh, hence the cover. Okay. Margot. She was rumored to have congress with demons, a deal with the devil, and an irrational hatred of her beautiful twin niece and nephew. Margot by Dana Reed, the shuddery new bestseller that will leave you breathless. Seems cool. All right, another Rick Hatala. This is Little Brothers. This is a zebra horror. Trippy little cover there, huh? In Maine, little brothers can be hell. Here's another Brian Keene. This one is Ghoul. Come on, baby. There you go. R. Carl Largent, Ancients. A novel to make the blood run cold. This is a leisure horror. Another Carl Largent. This is Black Death. Fear the flesh-eating bacteria. The flesh-eating bacteria. It rose from a grave in a long-forgotten cemetery. Virulent, malignant, brutally infectious. The victims? The people of Half Moon began to die, their bodies twisted in agonizing pain, their sick ruptured and torn, their blood turned to a thick, vicious ooze. Viscous? Viscous. Vicious. Viscous. Vicious. A sick, viscous, vicious. I don't know. Once they contracted the disease, death was near. But it cannot come quickly enough to ease their exquisite suffering. There was no antidote, no cure for the Black Death. Stephen Laws, The Worm. Okay, I have this one by Carl Largent already, and so I got it so I could pass it along to you guys. This is a leisure horror, and this is The Lake. Look at that cover. I absolutely love this cover. This is, I think I added this to one of my favorite, in my favorite horror book cover video, if I remember correctly. Unearthed by Ashley McConnell. I also have this one, and so I picked it up as well to pass along, and I love this cover. It is a diamond horror. The Black Death by Gwyneth Cravens and John Marr. And this one, unfortunately, I wish I would have caught this while I was there, but it is completely falling apart. I didn't catch it, so I will have to glue that bad boy back in there. I have this one already. This is Brian Coffey, which is Dean Koontz. And this is Voice of the Night. I have this one, so I will pass this one along. I got it because sometimes people want the alternate names of authors, so I thought someone might like that one. Flowers of Evil by Robert Charles. Beautiful to the eye, deadly to the touch. They were tiny blue flowers, so innocent looking, with slim, gossamer tendrils. And then, in the quiet countryside, the nightmare begins. For beneath the exquisite petals rages a hideous thirst for warm blood, and as each small victim is caught in their crawling death grip, the plants grow larger, stronger, drop by drop. The people of Lairg Island beware. They are the only prey large enough and warm enough to satisfy the menacing thirst. Sounds cool. Winter's Scream by Chris Curry and Lisa Dean. It's a pocket horror. Oh yeah. Look at this one. I had to grab this one. Wild Violets. And this is a zebra horror. This is from Ruth Baker Field. I had to get that one, huh? Michael Moorcock, The Shores of Death. I've never seen this book before. It's the first time I've seen this one. I actually got quite a bit of Moorcock in here. The Winds of Limbo. This is Fire Clown, and I have this one already. I had only seen it one other time, and it was the copy I had, and so I had to grab it. Someone's gonna want this one for sure. So it is the alternate name for Fire Clown, if you are looking for that one. Daw number 407, Moorcock. This is the Golden Barge, first North American edition. Some of these I have never seen, so I was pretty excited to grab them. I have seen this one, Land Leviathan. This is Daw number 178. I probably already have a copy of this one. I've not seen this one, The Steel Sar. The Guild of Temporal Adventures. This is number 503, Daw. The HoloLands. Oh, here's another one. An Alien Heat. So what's this one? This is volume 1. So Alien Heat is volume 1. HoloLens is volume 2. This is the Eternal Champion. And A Timescape. This is The Warhound and the World's Pain. Very good condition. And I love that cover. And this is a Rowena cover. The Black Corridor by Moorcock. I like this one a lot too. You can see the person in there with the hand over their head as if in pain. The Ice Schooner or Schooner, Moorcock. I've actually never seen this cover before, so it's a new cover for me. St. Peter's Wolf by Michael Cadnam. This is a zebra fiction. Hide and Seek by William Carney. They've been kidnapped to serve a horrifying purpose, to turn little kids into machines. This is also a zebra horror. Some Jack Vance. Jack Vance. City of the Chash. Norman Spinrad, The Solarians. I do have this one, just in a different cover. I also have the Jack Vance in a different cover as well. I do want to read The Solarians at some point. This is Agent of Chaos by Spinrad. Showboat World by Vance. I don't know if I have this one. I might. And then Big Planet by Jack Vance. One I want to pick up is, I think it's called Blue World. It's one I've been looking for by Vance. The Piper by Campbell Black. That is a pocket horror. I'm running out of space here. Fangs by Richard Forsyth. Look at this cover. It's awesome. The embossed teeth. This is a leisure horror. Scorpion by Katina Alexis. Winner of the Philip K. Dick Award, Richard Morgan, Altered Carbon. This is a Takeshi Kovacs novel, and probably one of my favorite books I read this year. I absolutely love this book. To me, way better than Neuromancer. Love this cover. It is the Book of the Dead. Look at that cover. So great. So this one will go on Whatnot. I couldn't remember if I had this one already. I might already have this one, so I will look, and if so, if I do, this one's going to go on to Whatnot. This is Toyland, Florence Ramey. I know this is a fairly rare copy to find, and it is a leisure horror. So this is not one you see every day, especially now that everybody wants horror paperbacks. Another Brian Keene, The Conqueror's Worm, or Worms. This one's look like a cool cover. The Gatekeeper by Dana Reed. I have quite a bit of Dana Reed stuff, so some of the other horror books that I have kept for myself are Dana Reed's, I know. The Bridge by John Skip and Craig Spector. Look at that cover. Man, they just don't make covers like they used to. So good. I'm excited for a lot of these. I'm pretty excited to make my TBR for next year because, you know, last year at the beginning of the year I did, you know, the 100 books that I wanted to read throughout the year. And I think I ended up with 150. That's why I went, well, I'll try to get through more. And I set them, I had them all out and I had them on my shelves and ready to pick through whenever I wanted to read a book. It was just fun to kind of pick and choose, and I'm pretty excited to do it again. So some of these are probably going to end up on there. Look at the cover of this one. Wow. Graham Masterton, Death Trance. Oh, So good. Tor horror. Man. Revenge of the Manitou or Manitou. Wow, this cover is awesome too. Great Graham Masterton. Look at that. And it's a Tor horror as well. I have this one, but I thought this cover was way better. This is part of the Vampire World series by Brian Lumley, and this is the last Eyrie. And the first one is Blood Wars or Blood Brothers. I can't remember. I think I have the first one up on Whatnot already, the upcoming show. But this cover is so cool. I gotta find the other copies in this same style. So, apparently, these are all some sort of order here. This is T.M. Wright. I don't know which order they go in, but here is, I'll show you them. This is Strange Seed by T.M. Wright. And this is a Playboy Press horror occult. And then this one is Children of the Isle. I would assume this is the last one. This is Jove Horror by T.M. Wright also. And then Nursery Tale by T.M. Wright. This one might be the first one. This is also a Playboy Press. All right, some more Moorcock here. This is Daw 307, Rituals of Infinity. I believe I have this one already, but this one looks great. I watched the movie quite a while ago, and it was an intense movie. I remember watching it going, wow, this is pretty heavy. And I didn't know at the time that it was based off of a book, so I'm excited to read this one. Okay, so this is Straw Dogs. I'm thinking of a different movie then. This is a movie with Dustin Hoffman. I'm totally thinking of a different movie. Huh. Wasn't there a Straw Dog? Maybe I'm thinking of the same thing, but it was like a remade version. I think there was one called Straw Dogs, but it was fairly like early 2000s maybe? Something like that. So anyways, this one had Dustin Hoffman in it, and Linda wanted to sign her name on the cover, apparently. But anyways, book looks good. Looking forward to reading that. You can let me know if you saw either of the movies. If pretty sure there's two then. This one looked awesome too. Thomas Tessier, Phantom. This is a Berkeley horror. Look at that. Oh man, these covers are so good. All right, Silver Warriors. This is a Moorcock and a Frazetta cover on the front there. Looks like it's part of the Elric series, I'm guessing. I don't know a lot about Moorcock. I haven't read any Moorcock yet. So Messiah at the End of Time, 277. Dawn number 277. And then we have Chain Gang by Rex Miller. £500 of pure murder. And check it out. You ready? Ooh, oh, baby. He's a flawless quarter-ton execution machine. A mountain of raw, raging flesh and blood. He's killed a person for every pound he weighs. His IQ is so high, it's off the charts. But Daniel Edward Flowers Bunkowski wasn't smart enough to stay out of jail forever. Chain Gang. He's so dangerous they drugged him and muzzled him and keep him in super maximum security solitary confinement. Wow, they keep him in super maximum security solitary confinement. Then they made one mistake. They set him loose. Terrifying and original, it marks the debut of a writer who is able to bring the dynamite in both hands. Almost too crudely terrifying to be read, but it's too compelling to put down. Stephen King. Oh, he wrote Slob also. I just picked up Slob recently. Dark Journey by A.R. Moreland. This is a Bantam horror. Cover's really great too. Town of Evil, Carnival of Horrors, Night of Judgment. Another Moorcock. This is Carnelian Adventure. I would guess this is number 3. Yeah, volume 3. It is the end of all songs. Come on. There we go. Jarek Carnelian. Flagellates. flagellates, I don't know, duplicates, mates, and disintegrates in this mind-stunning madness of the phantasmagoric end of time. So this is the third in that series. These are all crispy feeling. They're all nice, like brand new feeling, and it's a complete set, so that's really cool. John Brunner, Meeting at Infinity, with one of the best covers ever. The cover's fantastic. Jack Vance, this is number 416, The Book of Dreams. This is the fifth of the Demon Prince novels. John Brunner, Shockwave Rider, with the Del Rey covers on here, and I have a few of the other ones. I have Double Double and The Sheep Look Up, I think I have also. Here is, in the same style, The Whole Man, and actually another copy of Double Double in that same style. So I have two of those. So then one will be on Whatnot. Jack Vance, Planet of Adventure, City of the Chash. I think I have this one. Palace of Love by Jack Vance. Finally, we have three ace doubles. Jack Vance, Son of the Tree, and Jack Vance, House of Ism. These are in pretty good shape. Jack Vance again, House of Ism, and the same thing again, Son of the Tree, with just different covers. So I like this cover better, personally. And this one I've never seen by Vance, Monsters in Orbit. That's a new one to me by Vance. And The World Between and Other Stories by Vance, which this one I do not have. So pretty interesting. This one has, let's see what stories are in here. The World Between, The Moon Moth. Did I read the, I might, I don't know if I read The Moon Moth. That sounds really familiar. Brain of the Galaxy, The Devil on Salvation Bluff, and The Men Return. So very exciting. So that's it. That's the massive book haul. Some seriously good horror books in there, vintage horror, some awesome sci-fi in there, some ones adding to my collection, and that's it. I will catch you guys on the next one.